I got brought in a really good position, and then Imogen Wolf did a really good job. Yeah, Misha Bredewold opened her sprint, and yeah, actually the last 150 meters we just two abreast, I think. So yeah, it was very close.
Welcome to the 7th and final stage of La Vuelta Femenina. After Marianne Vos pipped Misha Bredewold yesterday, it's time to settle the GC battle with a mega queen stage in the Asturias. Demi Follering leads by 45 seconds, and it's going to take something special to prevent the Queen of Spain from defending her crown. But as we know, there are always twists and turns at La Vuelta, and anything's possible in this final mountain showdown.
I think it's going to be a very hard stage. It's long, it's hard, there are multiple long climbs, so it's very interesting what will happen. But I think, I hope that Niamh and me will be up there in the final climb to battle for GC.
This is the hardest stage in Vuelta Femenina history, with 3 big climbs and almost 3,000 metres of elevation gain. The Alto de Colladona, 5.5k at 7.4%, the Alto de la Colladella, 6.4k at 8.2%, and finally the Alto de Cotubillo, 10.3k at 8%. This is certainly not one for the faint of heart. The live pictures began as they were making their way up the second climb, the Colladella, with 2 riders leading. Agnieszka Skalniak-Sojka of Canyon SRAM Zonda Crypto and Femke de Vries of Visma Lease Bike. Well, the peloton only trailed by around a minute though, with Kristen Faulkner out the back after a rather spectacular crash, the American champion totally exploding both of her tyres. Luckily she was okay to carry on. Around 4 kilometres from the summit of the climb, de Vries went solo at the front. There was a bit of freedom today for the Visma Lease Bike rider after her GC leader, Pauline Ferrand-Prévot, pulled out a few days ago.
Many riders losing contact with the bunch.
The team have still managed to take 2 stage victories, with Marianne Vos, who was soon dropped from the peloton. And she wasn't the only one struggling, as Follering's biggest GC rival, Anna van der Breggen, took up the pacing duties. Rihanna Marcus, last year's runner-up, saying goodbye, and so too was Kasia Niewiadoma, who made it clear before the race that she wasn't here targeting GC. FDJ Suez taking over at the front of the red jersey group for their red jersey as they approached the summit. De Vries leading the way over the top, only 15 seconds or so ahead of the favourites. Another 10 points meanwhile for Avita Music, who had virtually taken the polka dot jersey from Follering. As they swept into the descent, Monica Trinca-Colonel went on the attack for Liv Alula-Jayco. The Italian's been lively this week, finishing 5th on stage 2 and 4th on stage 4.
Number 83 has been already neutralised by the bunch.
She was eventually joined by her fellow daredevil descender, Cedrine Caballol, but they weren't able to get a gap and eventually called it off. Juliette Labousse going back to the front for FDJ. Mavi Garcia was the next to try her luck for Liv Alula-Jayco, and she did manage to get away, but she had Avita Music for company. A perfect situation this for FDJ Suez and Follering, as those 2 riders quickly pulled around 45 seconds clear. Meanwhile, other teams were making moves in the peloton, including Movistar and Canyon SRAM. Niewiadoma making a couple of attempts to break the string after catching up again. Once they returned to the valley though, things calmed down again, and that enabled Garcia and Music to increase their lead to 1 minute and 30 seconds. It was another miserable day here in northern Spain, with the rain falling as they approached the final climb. More women had caught up to the main peloton, so the top GC riders had extra domestiques to help them out. Even Marianne Vos was back on bottle duty for Visma Lease Bike. SD Works driving things on for van der Breggen and bringing the gap down to around a minute.
Tensión caída, 144 y Visma.
A horrible moment for Osoa Ostolaza, Femke de Vries and Niamh Bradbury, but luckily they were all quickly back on their feet. The Australian in particular has had rotten luck this week. Well, back at the front, Garcia and Music only led by 37 seconds as they embarked on the final climb of this Vuelta Femenina. Bredewold doing a sensational job for SD Works before handing over to van der Breggen just before they caught the 2 escapees. So all back together again with 7.9k to go.
Dorsales 3 y 61 ya absorbidas por el pelotón, por lo tanto pelotón agrupado.
The front group being thinned out with riders starting to crack under the pressure. Bunel then tried to go clear, but to no avail. Muziek also attacked again, but she too was brought straight back. Van der Breggen going back to the front with Vollering on the wheel, and it was soon down to an elite group of riders. Marlen Reusser holding on very nicely, but the others were dropping one by one. Van der Breggen doing all sorts of damage. With 5k to go, there were only 5 women left. Van der Breggen, Vollering, Reusser, Kerbayol and Trinker-Colonel. The Italian was soon gone, but Kerbayol resisted superbly, just hanging onto Reusser's wheel. The top 4 overall this morning, proving they are indeed the 4 strongest riders in this race. Fischer-Black, Labous and Trinker-Colonel were the best of the rest, chasing at about 30 seconds. Still no moves in the leading quartet as they entered the last 2 kilometres. Remember, Van der Breggen and Reusser were separated by just 1 second overall. Vollering had a first go with 1.5k remaining, but the other 3 were equal to the move.
It is an immediate response from Anna van der Breggen.
AVDB back on the front as they went under the Flamme Rouge, but when Vollering went for the second time, there'd be no stopping her.
Well, she's gone again, Vollering around the outside, and all of these 3 riders out of the saddle. Kerbayol starting to suffer here a little bit. This is the toughest part of the climb, and this is the end of a long, long week. And Marlen Reusser, who looks like she's gone solo from Van der Breggen. Once more for the preeminent force in women's stage racing in this current era. And, well, it's another important title is being claimed by Demi Vollering. A second successive glory in Vuelta Femenina as she takes stage honours and now can celebrate considerable relief indeed. And it's victory on stage 7 and victory overall for Demi Vollering. And it's Marlen Reusser goes to the line to finish second on the day and second overall in the bike race too.
For the second year running, Demi Vollering wins La Vuelta Femenina, and for the second year running, she was in a league of her own, conquering both summit finishes of this 2025 edition. The 28-year-old was quick to praise her FDJ Suez team, who more than played their part, as she secured her 3rd Grand Tour victory and ticked over to 50 career wins.
I'm very happy. I'm really happy that I could win both mountain stages, and yeah, my team was again so strong, and we were always in control from my feeling. So I'm really happy about the whole performance with the whole team.
Following taking the final stage by just 11 seconds from Reusser, who's really established herself as the top GC rider this week. Van der Breggen was 3rd at 25 seconds, followed by Kerbayol and Fischer-Black. Vollering's margin of victory was 1 minute and 1 second over Reusser, who snuck ahead of Van der Breggen, also named the race's most combative rider on the final day. French duo Kerbayol and Labous round out the top 5. Vos took a commanding victory in the points classification. She finished on 245, almost 100 clear of Vollering in second place, with Femke Heritzer making it an all-Dutch podium. With her stage victory today and 20 points at the Cima Estela Dominguez, Vollering also finished as the race's Queen of the Mountains, ahead of Reusser and Muziek. With 3 riders in the top 10, FDJ Suez were unsurprisingly the best team this week by more than 9 minutes from Lidl Trek. And Nienke Vinke of Picnic Posternel was the best young rider, coming in at 9th place overall. And so the curtain comes down on La Vuelta Femenina 2025. Congratulations to our winner, Vollering, and to the podium finishers Reusser and Van der Breggen. We look forward to them renewing rivalries at this summer's Tour de France Femmes avec Zwift. Join us next time, and thanks for watching.